Hello, my name is Sivan. My colleagues are David, Anu, Alvin, and Sanjeev, and we'll be talking about SpaceX today. So, the table of contents. So, we'll be talking about why SpaceX is an entrepreneur company, the SpaceX background, and the current business model canvas, which will be done with a SWOT analysis, and then later we'll be giving some recommendations. So let's just look at what makes SpaceX an entrepreneur company. At first, it challenges the existing aerospace manufacturers by decreasing the cost of improving the reliability of access to space. And secondly, it is the first aerospace manufacturing industry to develop a rapidly reusable launch system. And third, it tries to colonize Mars by 2024. So, before we go into the deep analysis of the business model, let's just see what SpaceX is. So, SpaceX is a private American space manufacturing and space transportation service company, which was founded in 2002 by Elon Musk, whose main goal was to enable the colonization of Mars by reducing the cost of transportation of space. And it is headquartered in Hawthorne, California.
Moving to analyze the current business model canvas of the company, we need to start from the beginning, analyzing the customer segment and the value proposition. We realize the company is using a differentiated marketing strategy in the customer-related segmentation. In fact, we have three different customers. The first one is NASA, was chosen by its functional job to pioneer the future space exploration and aeronautic research, but obviously some obstacles could show up. In fact, NASA engineers are really confused about which is the real rocket purpose, and this could slow down their operating process. NASA would expect to gain technologies and the expertise from SpaceX in order to create new future space exploration. The aim of including people's space trip to the moon was given by the fact that SpaceX could fund the development of new technologies through millionaire offers. Those people want just to achieve a particular emotional state that could change their life completely, but those trips are full of risk. In fact, they need to be aware about the health risk given by the loss of gravity. All in all, they want to face an experience that could inspire them for the rest of their life. In addition, we have the US government that is funding SpaceX for different activities such as research and development and space launch of new vehicles in order to invest on the creation of new vehicles that it can then purchase. During this kind of collaboration, personal interest could prevail, creating misunderstanding between the parties. All in all, the US government would expect the SpaceX to improve the research and development in order to create vehicles that could respect the requirement. According to the value proposition, we have three different offers for each customer. For NASA, for example, we have space launch services and transfer of new technologies and knowledges. For the people with purchasing power, we have space exploration from millionaire offers, of course. And US government, we have space launch vehicles and the design services of those vehicles. We resumed the main value proposition of two aspects. The first one is low-cost access to space, and the second one is revolutionized space technologies. The first one is given by its vertical integration because they serve the equipment, facilities, and people across the different core activities in order to get low cost. And the second one was given by the first aim to enable people to live in another planet and also to support the full and rapid reusability of space launch vehicles.
SpaceX channels are mainly divided into four: offices, launch facilities, developmental facilities, and supply location. Offices, they are the main place where it plan, coordinate, and execute all the activities of SpaceX. Launch facilities, they are the main place where the SpaceX execute all their projects. Developmental facilities, the places where it develop all the complex and heavy machineries of SpaceX used to launch. Supply location are mainly near to the offices for the easy transmission of goods and services. Next, we can move on to customer relationship. Customer relationship is mainly divided into three: maintenance support, direct interaction, and long-term contract. Maintenance support, the main partner or to whom whom the contract is made is having equal importance, so they will provide equal finance as well as the manpower. Direct interaction, SpaceX is having both private and public interaction relationship. The main agencies having interaction between SpaceX is NASA, Google, US government, and other aerospace agencies. Long-term contract, the only visible agency who is having A direct and long-term contract between SpaceX is NASA. Thanks.
I'm going to explain about SpaceX revenue stream. SpaceX generates most of its revenue by selling the rockets, launching the satellites, and selling its merchandise on its website. The average launch cost for the Falcon 9 vehicle is 62 million, and the Falcon Heavy is 90 million. For the Dragon and Starship, it doesn't mention the value. It won 1.3 million of worth contract with the Kazakhstan government in March 2018 as well. 96.5 million worth of contract with the US government in March 2017, and 290 million worth of contract with the US Air Force in March 2018. It has 80 plus successful launches, and it has 40 plus future contracts with the various clients. It has the highest revenue. We can observe the highest revenue of the SpaceX as per the Jeffries Group. In 2018, it generates 22,000 million worth of revenue, and it has a competition with the ULA. ULA has my next topic is SpaceX key activities. SpaceX key activities are following things. It's design and manufacture and launch the vehicles, launch the rockets and satellites to the various organizations. SpaceX launch commercial and cargo rockets as well. SpaceX does the space station resupply. SpaceX has a full launch vehicle. One is Falcon 9 and Falcon Heavy, and another one is Dragon and the Starship. Each vehicle has its own capabilities and all. When it's come to a Falcon 9 in the low Earth orbital, it can carry a 22,800 kgs. When it's come to a Mars, it carries 4,020 kgs worth. When it's come to a Falcon Heavy, it can carry a 63,800 kgs to the low Earth orbital. And when it's come to a Mars, it can carry a 16,800 kgs of load. And SpaceX has 3 launch facilities, and each facility has a unique key activities. Depends upon the project and all. It launches the rockets from the 3 facilities. It has a 1 headquarters and 5 offices in the US as well, 1 research and development center in the US.
Key resources and key partners. About key resources, it has intellectual resources, physical resources, human resources, and financial resources. In intellectual resources, it has name and logo. In SpaceX, name and logo and other trademarks should not be passed by other companies. About the physical assets, mainly rocket and rocket engines as manufacturing and manufacturing companies like places like CCAFS and KSC. And about the human resources of SpaceX companies, about 160 trainees and other more than 6,000 employees are in SpaceX company. About the financial resources of the SpaceX companies, both private and public companies. And about the NASA also helped by the revenue growth in 1 billion from 2030 to 2040. And about the key partners. About the key partners, we can see that Google, SpaceX, Jewett CERN, and Founders Fund, Valor Equity, partner and suppliers. Recently, Google has been invested 1 billion out of the more than advancement and the Founders Fund. We can see that equity investment 20 million in SpaceX in 2008. About suppliers, we can see that SpaceX has more than 50 suppliers in the US and 100 more across the globe. They ensure that material provide specifications, drawing requirements. Thank you.
So now let's talk about the cost structure of SpaceX. So it basically consists of 3 components: the salary, development cost of Falcon 9 and Dragon, and economics of scale. So talking about the salary, the average salary ranges from approximately $42,441 for latest technician to $106,252 for a builder or fitter per year. And the hourly pay ranges from approximately $18.80 for welder to $37.50 for a fabricator. Now, the developing cost of Falcon 9 and Dragon, which are the products of SpaceX, it mainly includes of hardware costs, launchpad rental, launch expenses, transport costs, and testing and quality assurance. Talking about the economics of scale, SpaceX achieves the economy of scale through Falcon 9 design of using identical engines throughout the vehicle. So the reasonability cost graph of the Falcon 9 and Dragon shows that it was around $7,000 per kg to low Earth orbit in the first initial stage of Falcon 9, and then it gradually decreased to something around $2,000 at the last stage. And for the Falcon Heavy, it was around $4,000 in the first initial stage, and then it gradually decreased at the 10th launch.
Concluding our presentation, we made a SWOT analysis trying to summarize the internal strengths and weaknesses of the company and the external threats and opportunities. As main strengths, we consider low-cost structure that help the company to get low-cost access to space and their reusability rocket system. As a weaknesses, we consider high required investment in research and development that reflects to low profitability. As opportunities, instead, we consider their aim to revolutionize the space industry and their market growth potential. Instead, as a threat, we see oversight capital requirement, contract dependability, and the rate of new entrants. Finally, providing some recommendation, we think the company should improve the quality of their rockets in order to reduce the failed attempts. And in addition, seeing the increase of the competition, the company should undertake a Brusian strategy in order to differentiate itself from the others, and we will provide a deep example of that in the report. Here you can see the references we use for this presentation, and thank you for paying attention.